We've been facing a problem for a while, a conflict, and it's not unique to us, where we want to be able to give clients some nice control over some styling things, but then at the same time, then we don't really trust them to be able to make all the right decisions, and at the same time, we don't want to put them in a position where they have to do any coding to any extent. We don't ever want them to have to deal with that, and so what do we do with CSS that we need to be applied to certain elements within a page or within a post, and is not just a one-off experience? If we have a special page that's going to have special CSS, it's no big deal. We do that ourselves, right? But that doesn't work if we're trying to do something that needs to be repeated at different times, and is not something that we want to be dealing with directly every single time. Let me show you what I mean. So we come in here, and right now we say we have a cool new event. And then we have a link to it right here, and we say cool new event. So we link to it, and that cool new event is found at google.com. And we preview this, and it works. We have a link here to a cool new event, but that gets lost in all this stuff, doesn't it? We want something that stands out more, so what would a client naturally want? We want buttons, or they might give a million other words for them. Tabs, those little square thingies that you click on instead of the linky thingies, descriptions like that. And so then what would we do if it was us? If we know what we're doing, then we would go in here and we would just say, oh, class equals button. No big deal, but we can't send clients onto this text side, which is the code side here, and have them make changes. That they will get confused. It's going to be a mess. It's not a good idea. Now it works. Now we have this little button down here. So you might be thinking to yourself, there's a plugin for that. And there is, but every plugin that I've found anyway, then it's way, way more difficult to use than what that code is right there. You have to go through a whole lot of steps, and it's just confusing and clunky and awkward. And so I have not been satisfied with them. I think they're worse than what going into the HTML is for the client even. And so then we've normally made it so that then we have CSS styling that's applied to a specific page, or to a certain category of post or something of that nature, so that then it can generally look right. But we had a client request the ability to specify buttons within a post. They specifically made that request, and it's the first time we've had someone actually specifically request it, I believe. And so what they wanted was to be able to have it be that on this new thing they have going on, I don't know if I actually know right where it is. I guess I do. Here we go. This is what it is. It's home run. Somewhere on here there's a home run. There it is. So they want it to be that then they have these buttons, which they accidentally put in there by mistake by copying and pasting an old page onto here. They want those buttons everywhere. But they can't have them everywhere without going into the code as it stood. And so then this here just looks like a normal link to them. On this side, then you can see that it has button in there as a class. But we don't want them to have to do that. And so here is the miracle of miracles. We now have this little formats button right here, and we can make anything into a button. And it can be their button, their style of button instantly. Or we could make a bunch of different buttons. Or we can make something that has nothing to do with buttons at all and just say that we want a little box within there. And it can be completely customized on every one, because all we are doing is applying a button class to a given area. And so this makes it into a span with a button class applied to it. And so now if I click preview, even though I don't really want that to be a button, look what happens. It's a button! And so that's simple, right? Now it doesn't link anywhere right now, and it still says it will because buttons say they link places. But normally we would have that linked up, right? And so it works perfectly. Everything works just fine on that now. And we could make boxes. We could make it so that then text is going to be a different size, a different color, which you can do colors otherwise. We can do special kinds of colors that otherwise we'd have to explain to them how to do. We can do anything we want. We can make things align into different sorts of columns even, whatever we want. In theory, you could do just about anything you want to do, because all we're doing is just applying a button class. And so then all you have to do is go in and say, oh, I want buttons to do such and such, right? And so then we have this class of button, and now we can just control it in whatever way we want. Or you can call it whatever else you want. It doesn't have to be button. You can call it lollygagging bird face. It doesn't matter. You can do what you want. Now, you might be asking yourself, isn't this going to be hard for us to implement? And I would say no. No, it's not. It's very simple to implement, in fact. This is what you do. We've got some code. I'll post it up there somewhere where you can just always come back to this site here and copy it from there. That's what I normally end up doing because I never remember to keep track of code. I need some better system in my life, I guess. So we're going in here where our files are from Habitat, going into the theme, and now within functions.php, we have all the code you need to make this happen. Down here at the bottom, starting with this here. Let me put a thing in here. Code to make formats button and other such things. And sorry, I got distracted for a second. Okay. And so down here, we got these things here. We have each one of these arrays is a new thing, and all you need to do, you don't even know what it means. I don't care what it means, and you probably don't care what it means. To make a new one, all you need to do is just copy and paste it, and now we can say new class, and then over here, then we say new dash class, right? We'll get rid of this red button while we're here because we don't need it. And then you save your changes, and you come back here, and you refresh, and you reload it because you don't actually need to save anything that was in there before. And now you can apply a new class to anything. This here, boom. What is that? It's a new class right there, and you can control it. And it's that simple. And then all you do is you go in here, and you go into your CSS, and you say, this is what I want new class to do. Or this is what I want new class to do on a page, or a post, or on the 30th of June, 2016. You have to go back in time. And that's not really how CSS works, to go back in time or to apply it to certain dates. But I have confidence in you. So we're also going to get rid of new class because we don't need that either. Right now, all we need is... I don't know if I need that comma there or not. I don't see why I would, but then it worked otherwise without it. Or with it. Let's reload this and make sure it's still working. All you need is button. And we got it on there, okay? So, simple enough, right? If you ever have questions, let me know. I can walk you through it again. But I think it's really cool. And I think it's going to change our lives forever and for the better. And you'll look back on this one day and say, man, what did we do before we had this new technology? What did we do before we had this new system for adding format buttons? They were rough times, I can tell you that. I can tell you that.